Thank you so much for coming to my blog today and checking out my video presentation here. What I want to do is just give you a quick update on what we did this summer. Even though the council's been on recess since July 15th, my staff and I have been hard at work touring health clinics, going to lots of education hearings, and drafting legislation to help reform the criminal justice system here in D.C. To start with, many of you know the big priority of mine coming onto the council when I was first elected was to really do my best to be a part of education reform in the District of Columbia. And to that end, I spent a large amount of time listening to the public this summer. I went to 8 community meetings on education reform, had 5 more meetings here in the council as public hearings, and each of these brought new information and really enlightened me as to what I'm trying to accomplish here. Stay tuned for more education news as we move forward. There'll be information here on my blog, there'll be information on Twitter, of course, and on my Facebook page. In addition, we visited 12 health clinics. These are the primary care basic health clinics throughout our communities all over the District of Columbia in every single ward this summer. The purpose for me in doing this was really to spend some time putting my fingers on the issue, putting getting my hands dirty, understanding what's going on. Because in the next couple of years, we're going to have a tremendous amount of coverage. People are going to be able to pay for their care. The government's going to be helping with it. And the question is going to be, do we have adequate health care coverage in the District of Columbia or not? Are there doctors? Are there nurse practitioners? Do we have clinics available that can really handle the demand and the need? So I'm excited about being engaged in this and being involved in this. I'm not sure where it's going to go, but stay tuned because we'll be doing more and more as we go forward. Finally, this summer I decided to come up to speed on criminal justice issues. I finally got a chance to read The New Jim Crow, which is an amazing book that I recommend everybody spend time with. And I decided that I was going to introduce 3 bills on September 17th, just next week. First is the legalization of marijuana. This is a criminal justice issue for me because too many of our residents are being arrested for nonviolent drug offenses on our street corners when really they shouldn't be. It's just a waste of energy and time on the police end. It's filling up jails around the country, and really we need to put a stop to this. The war on drugs simply hasn't worked. So I'm going to introduce a bill to legalize marijuana. The second, and we're going to tax and regulate it. I want to be very clear. This is a tax and regulate scheme much like Washington State. The second bill I'm going to introduce is in conjunction with that. We're going to do a sealing of records for people that have previously been arrested, spent time in jail, have felonies or misdemeanors when it comes to nonviolent marijuana offenses. So basically we're saying you no longer have to check the box. You no longer have to be excluded from public housing because you had a nonviolent offense in your past. And finally, the third bill we're doing is also relative to this issue. The Department of Corrections right now does not have a policy on whether it's okay to put a woman in handcuffs or shackles on her legs when she's in labor having a baby. And for me, that's just not a good way to go about doing this. In the end, we're going to join around 30 other states in the country to join them and say that this is not something we're going to stand for in D.C., that when a woman's in labor, she needs to be treated with more respect and understanding and be allowed to carry out the birthing of her child without being handcuffed to the bed. We've done a lot this summer. We've done a lot to try to stay in tune with what we're trying to accomplish here in the District of Columbia to create a good government, to create a new government, to create a government that's going to be working for the people. It's something that I'm really proud of. We're also this fall going to be working on campaign finance reform, continue to work on education reform. These are issues that are important to me. Finally, I'll just note that it was a real honor for me to have the opportunity to volunteer at the Housing Access Program at Bread for the City this summer. I got trained. I've spent numerous hours over there working with the public to try to understand better what the plight of the people is when it comes to access to housing. It was a real eye-opening for me, and in fact I'm going to continue to do it. I was there today on 9/11 as part of my service project, volunteering. So check me out again, please, on my blog here, and this is David Grosso on Tumblr, on my Facebook, which is going to be coming up here on David Grosso on the Facebook, and finally on Twitter, which is CMD Grosso. Follow me there. I spend a lot of time on Twitter. It's a great tool. So thank you again for checking out my blog. Have a great day.